Good morning. My name is Akanksha Bansal, and I will start with this topic: William Shakespeare, an overview. William Shakespeare, baptized 26th April 1564, 23rd April 1616, was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Bard means poet, or simply the Bard. Born on Stratford upon Avon, England, died on 23rd April 1616 at the age of 52 years. Occupation: playwright, poet, and actor. Era: Elizabethan era and Jacobean era. Movement: English Renaissance. William Shakespeare's extant works, including collaborations, consists of some 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 3 long narrative poems, and a few other verses, some of uncertain authorship. His plays have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. Shakespeare's plays are canon of approximately 39 dramatic works written by English poet, playwright, and actor William Shakespeare. The exact number of plays, as well as their classification as tragedy, history, or comedy, is a matter of scholarly debate. Shakespeare's plays are widely regarded as being among the greatest in the English language and continually performed around the world. So I have all mentioned completely. I will start next point: canonical plays. So, except where noted, the plays below are listed for the 30 plays included in the first folio of 1623, according to the order in which they appear there. There with two plays that were not included: Pericles, Prince of Tyre, and the Two Noble Kinsmen, being added at the end of the list of comedies, and Edward the Three at the end of the list of histories. So, Shakespearean comedy. First is the Tempest. Second, the Next Gentleman of Verona. Third is the Merry Wives of Windsor. Fourth is Measure for Measure. Fifth is the Comedy of Errors. Sixth is Much Ado About Nothing. Seventh is Love, Labour's Lost. Eighth is The Midsummer Night's Dream. Ninth is The Merchant of Venice. 10th is As You Like It. 11th, The Taming of the Shrew. 12th, All's Well That Ends Well. 13th, Twelfth Night. 14th, The Winter's Tale. 15th, Pericles, Prince of Tyre. 16th, The Two Noble Kinsmen. So, Shakespearean histories. In the first folio, the plays of William Shakespeare were grouped into three categories: comedies, histories, and tragedies. The histories, along those of contemporary Renaissance playwrights, help define the genre of history plays. The Shakespearean histories are biographies of English kings of the previous 4 centuries and include the stand-alones: King John, Edward III, and Henry VIII, as well as continuous sequence of 8 plays. These last are considered to have been composed in 2 cycles. The so-called first tetralogy, apparently written in the early 1590s, covers the Wars of the Roses saga and includes Henry the Sixth part 1, 2, and 3, and the Richard III. The second tetralogy, finished in 1599, and included Richard the III, Henry the Fourth, Part 1 and 2, and Henry the Five. Is frequently Prince Hall, the future Henry V. So, besides proposing other categories such as romances and problem plays, many modern studies treat the histories together with those tragedies that feature historical characters. These include Macbeth, set in the mid 11th century during the reigns of Duncan I of Scotland and Edward the Confessor, and the Roman plays Coriolanus, Julius Caesar, and Antony and Cleopatra. So, list of Shakespeare histories. So, here is English histories. I have all mentioned completely. So, next is Roman histories and others Roman histories I have mentioned here, and next is other histories. As with the Roman plays, the first folio groups these with the tragedies, although they are connected with regional royal biography and based on similar sources. They are usually not considered part of Shakespeare's English histories. First is King Lear, Macbeth, and last is Hamlet. So here is sources. The sources for the most of the English history plays, as well as for Macbeth and King Lear, is the well-known Raphael Holinshed's Chronicle of English history. The sources for the Roman history plays is Plutarch's Lives of the Noble Grecians and Romans compared together. In the translation made by Sir Thomas North in 1579, Shakespeare's histories plays focus on only a part of the character lives, and also frequently omit significant events for dramatic purposes. So, Shakespearean tragedies. Shakespearean tragedy is the designation given to most tragedies written by William Shakespeare. Many of his history plays share the qualifiers of a Shakespearean tragedy, but because they are based on real figures throughout the history of England, they were classified as histories in the first, following the Roman tragedies Julius Caesar, Antony and Cleopatra, and Coriolanus. So are also based on historical figures, but because their sources were foreign and ancient, they are almost always classified as tragedies rather than histories. So chronology. There is chronology. Next point is dramatic collaboration. Shakespearean collaboration. Most playwright of his period, Shakespeare didn't always write alone, and a number of his plays were collaborated, although the exact number is open to debate. Some of the following attributions, such as for the two noble kinsmen, have well attested contemporary documentation. Others, such as for Titus Andronicus, remain more controversial and are dependent on linguistic analysis by modern scholars. First is Cardenio, by Next is contemporaneous reports suggest that Shakespeare collaborated with John Fletcher, Cymbeline, Edward III, Henry VI, Part 1, Edward III by Thomas Kidd, Henry VI, Part 1, Henry VIII, Macbeth by Thomas Middleton, Measure for Measure. Next is Pericles, Prince of Tyre by George Wilkins, Timon of Athens, Titus Andronicus. Next is the two noble kinsmen. Next point, Shakespearean sonnets. Shakespeare's sonnets are composed of 14 lines, and most are divided into three quatrains and a final concluding couplet rhyming A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. So this is sonnet form, and rhyme scheme is known as the English sonnet. His sonnets vary its configuration and effects repeatedly. Literary period Renaissance forms poems, genre Renaissance poetry. Shakespeare published a quarto of 154 sonnets in 1609. He wrote the poems throughout his career. The sonnets were probably written and perhaps revised between the early 1590s and about 1605. Version of sonnets 128 and 144 were printed in the poetry collection The Passionate Pilgrim in 1599. Literary devices used in the sonnets. Example of literary devices in Shakespeare's poetry such as alliteration, assonance, enjambment, metonymy, metaphor, synecdoche, oxymoron, and personification. The sonnets were dedicated to W.H., whose identity remains a mystery, although William Herbert, the Earl of Pembroke, is frequently suggested because Shakespeare's first volume was dedicated to him. If we assume that sonnets are autobiographical and that all or nearly all are addressed to two persons, a young man beloved of the poet and the dark lady with whom they were both entangled, the majority of the critics who accepted the personal theory assumed that the Mr. W.H. of the dedication was this young man rather than the collector or editor of the poems. Shakespeare's sonnets are poems above love and beauty. In other words, Shakespeare's sonnets are related to real life because they address the existential concerns that we all wrestle with at some point in our lives.
Thank you.